The Los Angeles Lakers are yet again in the market for another big name, a player slash free agent, this time actually revolving around the Lakers actually have interest in potentially signing slash trading for DeMar Derozan. This is all being reported by Kevin O'Connor. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to talk about with you guys. Again, after the Los Angeles Lakers just won a championship, it was reported they would still be looking out to go and potentially sign some, big name free agent players, or potentially even go and trade for some other players, because again, they're definitely going to have to try and keep up with these other teams like the Golden State Warriors, who are gradually yet again building another super team, which is pretty insane to actually see. So again, teams like the Lakers are definitely going to have a lot on their plate to try and do in this free agency, and especially if the Lakers want to go back to back, they definitely got to, again, potentially go out and trade for another player here and there. Now, in my opinion, DeMar Derozan is not really that player. Although I do really rate DeMar Derozan, I actually think he is a pretty decent player. I just don't know if he really makes too much sense for the Los Angeles Lakers, as the way the Lakers kind of go about it is they really do put, they kind of go about it as a way where they want shooters around LeBron James. LeBron James plays that really good point forward type of role, and they really try to build a team where they can have LeBron James play point guard on offense, but then guard the small forward on defense. So in doing so, they were able to, bring in KCP, or slash Avery Bradley, who started quite a bit as well. So again, the trio of KCP, Danny Green, and Avery Bradley, who were the three shooters that kind of started a point guard and shooting guard as well, but on offense would play the shooting guard slash small forward type of role. So again, that is all, good and all, but DeMar Derozan doesn't really fit into that category. Yes, Danny Green had a lot of issues in the playoffs, but people forget he actually had a pretty decent season and was pretty good from the three-point line, for the most part of the season, even averaging about 38% from three, I do believe. Now, DeMar Derozan is not a three-point shooter. He is a mid-range shooter, and again, finding players open on the mid-range is a lot more harder than, trying to get players open on the three-point range, and you don't often see LeBron James kick it out to open players on the mid-range, so I don't necessarily know how DeMar Derozan would really fit on that. DeMar would definitely have to spend, developing a three-point jumper, potentially if he was to be getting traded to the Los Angeles Lakers or signed there. The way that I see it is, he's not going to be able to do a sign and trade with the Spurs, I don't think. I don't think the Spurs are going to bring him back on a sign and trade. This is why I'm talking about that. DeMar Derozan does have, I believe, a $28 million player option, which I actually do believe he will decline. Reason is, yes, $28 million is a lot of money and the most he's probably going to get, but he could definitely go and sign with another team on like 4 years, $20 million per season. Now, the reason is this, and why he would rather do this is, yes, you're just knocking back $8 million or whatever, but he actually gets to choose where he does want to play, and he does have a, wide variety of teams that do want him. But when it comes to, if he picks up that $28 million contract, he could be, again, potentially traded to whatever team. He could be getting traded to the Charlotte Hornets or some team like that, and maybe he doesn't want to play for the Charlotte Hornets. So that's the issue, and the issue with the Los Angeles Lakers that I see is, I don't understand. I don't know if he was going to sign with them normally on a $20 million contract. I don't know if he'd be able to do that. They would have to trade away players like Danny Green, etc. first to make this happen and clear up cap, because Danny Green is on about $15 million, and they do have some other players on big money here as well. So I would assume they would trade Danny Green on the $15 million, and then bring in DeMar on the $20 million. If they do keep Danny Green, there's no way they're going to be able to sign DeMar, and they're probably not going to be able to get him from the Spurs, unless they have some really nice deal that the Spurs actually do like of a sign and trade. And in my opinion, I don't think the Spurs are going to be too interested on trading really that much to the Los Angeles Lakers or whatever, because, again, the Lakers don't have too many assets that I feel like the Spurs will be interested in. The Lakers' best young player is Kyle Kuzma, and he's 26 years of age, so considering the Spurs are going to be reportedly starting a new rebuild here and there very soon as well, is, the way I see it, is why would they want Kyle Kuzma, for the team? That just doesn't really make any sense to me at all. So I kind of feel like if a trade out of these teams would actually potentially happen or go down, it would most likely be, yeah, maybe the Lakers would have to go and get some younger assets or something to try and get DeMar to the team. The best option for them for getting DeMar DeRozan potentially to the team, on what I can see, is I feel like they're going to have to, you know, trade Danny Green and a couple of these players for a young, okay player to make this happen. They're not going to be able to trade Danny Green for any good young players here and there. So again, they're going to have to maybe settle for an average young player, and this is how the Spurs would kind of be interested in it through that way. I just don't know how it's all going to go. I don't really feel like the Lakers are going to be too much interested in DeMar either. I feel like a player that the Lakers should actually go after instead is Buddy Hield. I feel like Buddy Hield makes a lot of sense for the Los Angeles Lakers because he's a player that can have very few touches and be a very good player on the court. He can average 20 points per game and only have the ball like 30 times or something for the game. He's one of those players, you know, like Klay Thompson as well, who doesn't need the ball to be a good player. He's a very off-ball type player that LeBron James loves to play with these off-ball type of players. Like, I mean, look at J.R. Smith in his prime. He got to play with him, and J.R. played, well, not really prime, but, you know, again, he's Cavaliers days, a lot of off-ball with him, and it just kind of worked pretty well with J.R. Mario Chalmers played a bit of off-ball at point guard as well. Kevin Love was an off-ball shooter. Kyrie Irving was definitely capable of being an off-ball guard. Mo Williams in LeBron James' younger days was definitely capable of being an off-ball guard as well. Buddy Hield is one of those players who can put up 20 points per game on the catch and shoot with less than 30 touches, and he's just one of those players. So I feel like he should definitely be targeted quite a bit by the Los Angeles Lakers, and in my opinion, he could be the missing player, and a big three of Buddy Hield, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis could definitely be a pretty good kind of combination / trio that I definitely would like to see, and I could definitely see that team potentially going back-to-back as well. So, again, something Lakers fans should definitely be looking forward to. Of course, DeMar DeRozan's not the worst player they could go out and get. He's just not exactly the best / makes the most amount of sense, in my opinion, for the Los Angeles Lakers to potentially get. But of course, I'd definitely really like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. So don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, you know, and my IRL / long channel for all the latest content there. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for all the latest sports related content and news. Of course, don't forget to comment in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts and opinions on this? Don't forget to check out my podcast as well if you haven't already. Links for them will all be in the description down below. But as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.